good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on what time or where you guys are chiming in from. You guys got to understand, I just got back from Italy. I got a little bit of a bug when I got back into the States and things of that nature. So my voice may be a little bit raspy, but I got to tell you guys, I missed you guys tremendously. You know, when you're doing life with a global community of people that have a like mind, you really start to understand how much of an impact they have in your life. And so I definitely miss you guys, and to all the newest members that's chiming in for the very first time. My name is Greg, just in case we haven't met yet, and this is our Saturday Locker Room, and where we come together every single Saturday and we talk about so many different things, whether it's leadership, business, increasing people's financial literacy, and how this particular project fits in the macro scheme of everything that's going on. I want to give you a warm welcome, and I always like to say that we're very, very passionate about what it is that we do. And so because of that, I know myself personally, I have a tendency to say some things sometimes that may rub people the wrong way. But when that happens, please charge it to my head and not my heart, because we're here to help people win and win in a major league way. And got some, very good stuff I want to share with you guys today. But before I get started, one of the things that we talked about maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, about the importance of becoming the least important person in your business and being away, for the last, week to 2 weeks, whatever the case may be, and just seeing all of these different leaders that I'm fortunate enough to be in business with. And I don't want to begin naming names because then I'll miss somebody, but you guys know who you are, holding it down. I mean, I got to say, Doug Ford, here I go naming names, Bridget Copeland Harris, Bishop Garnett, Reverend Thomas, Beverly Davis. Who else we got out there that's done some things? Rhonda. I mean, the list goes on and on. If I missed you, it's not on purpose. It's just to let you guys know from my head and heart to yours. I love and appreciate you guys. And it does take teamwork to make the dream work. This is not a one-person rodeo. We are a true community. And so to be on vacation and know that it was held down and you guys got some rock solid information, that bodes well. And guess what? The residual deposits didn't stop. While we're on vacation, the residual deposits did not stop. And that's the beautiful thing about this project, you guys, to show people how to get in the position of generating unavoidable residual cash flow at scale. So before I get started, I want to make it real personal. I'm going to go ahead and ask a few people, if you don't mind. Let me go back to the gallery because I don't want to talk at you. I want to talk with you. Is there anything specific that anybody wants to talk about that's on their heart based on this week or whatever the case may be? Is there anybody that wants to talk about something specific? Maybe they're having some challenges or whatever the case may be. And I can wrap around exactly what I'm going to share with whatever that is. Anybody have anything? I'd rather you guys do it here than do it on an overview. Let's just say that, okay? So let's go ahead. Sandra, how are you?
I am good, thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back.
It's good to be back. Thank you.
I have a challenge with I purchased some tokens and I have all the information. The wallet is correct. The money came out from my account and everything, but it did not show up in the back office. And I sent a ticket to support ticket, and then my inviter, she also sent one, and the person that I purchased the token for, she also sent a ticket, but we have not heard anything.
Okay.
And I don't know, but everything is lining up. The wallet is correct. Everything is correct. And I got in touch with the Change wallet that I use. And they showed me everything went to. So they said I should contact my wallet. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything technical like that, what we'll do is get that information to me through, the success line and whatever the case may be. And I'll try to expedite it up to see what's going on there. But typically anything that's technical, you guys did the exact right things to do in terms of putting in a support ticket. But in this particular situation, I'll do my part to see if we can get that looked at for you personally. So get that, you can get that to me through, D Ford, whoever the case may be, but we'll look at that for you, okay?
Okay, I'll send it to my inviter, Miss Valencia. She'll send you the information.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
That way.
Thank
My
you so much.
pleasure. Okay. Anyone else? And where I'm coming from in terms of anything is in terms of the building of the business, the technical aspects of it, we don't want to spend the time doing that. But in terms of building your business and building your cooperative, more specifically, my apologies if I didn't make that clear. Okay. Sananda, how are you?
I'm well, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Actually, my question too has to do with like Sandra's.
Okay.
Uh, I have two partners who cannot get into their back office,
Okay.
and I did send a support ticket, but I haven't heard back.
Gotcha. Okay. Any of that, just try to get to me through the line of lineage, and I'll get it, and then I'll send it off to corporate myself. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Okay. Hey, Maria.
Yes, I have a question. Is there a Coop C?
There is, but we don't even deal with that. There's
Oh,
Co-op
okay.
50/50, Co-op C. We don't add any confusion to our environment
Because,
because that's like riding 2 and 3 horses. We're Co-op B focused.
okay, thank
All right.
you.
My pleasure. Okay. You have a question, Pam? Let me see. Ask it on mute.
It's not so much a question, but um an observation. I think if we went into what a cooperative truly is, that we'd get less objections to it being like a pyramid or Ponzi scheme. And we're really a hybrid of co-ops, and we don't have to deal with the paperwork or the, regulations like typical cooperatives do and jump through hoops, and we actually make money at it. We're not getting like a discount where there's a lot of co-ops like housing and things like that, but that we're truly owners, that we own the racetrack and we get the rewards, so to speak.
Well, yeah, Pam, what I want to do is I want to entertain like questions that you ask specifically, because no matter what you do in terms of, the people to people space, anytime it requires you to talk to people, automatically they're going to think that for some people. So I don't think that's the biggest issue that we have here. I want to talk more specifically. If people have a question about how to put money in their pocket, what kind of challenges that you may have that you may be dealing with, and I want to be able to address that. Hey, Rhonda, what do you have?
The question basically is simply how do we incorporate everything that we learn here and project it, offer it, and give it to those who have no clue whatsoever?
Okay, great.
How do we, how can I say, the program and give what we have to reprogram so that they can, the masses can see what this really is.
Gotcha. Well, great question. Well, based on that question, let me share this with everybody on the line here real quickly. There's a saying that it's mandatory to grow old, but it's optional to grow up, so to speak. And what's happening is that a lot of us are coming and we may get in front of like a Douglas Ford, or we may get in front of a Les Brown, or we may get in front of, a Tony Robbins, and we're so excited when we're in that environment. But the question is, why is it that so many people, after they leave the environment, they may not execute at the level in which they should be executing? And it's because of something that's very, very important. The environment is even more important than your mentality. And that's something that I'm going to share with you guys today as well. And I'm glad that you brought that up, is because it's about a mindset, right? And so you have mind and then set. Separate those words out. Please write that down. A lot of you come and you get mindset, but you don't set your mind. You get on an emotional roller coaster, if you will. And so what I want to do, I'm going to share this with you guys here real quickly. And I got some of my notes here, and I want to talk to you guys about this in terms of your environment and why this is so important. And let me change my view here. and why this is so important is because you have people in your life. We've heard this saying that your network determines your net worth, right? We all get that, okay? And we have people in our life that accept us. They love us. But the question is do they believe in us? Do they believe in you? A lot of us are in relationships with people that we were just born into a neighborhood, or it's just an environment and we just accept it, and you want to be around people that accept you, but you got to put yourself in an environment where people are looking to make you grow, if you will, that believe in you. This is so critically important. And so you have to do an audit of your relationships. And a lot of us, we're not doing an audit of our relationships. We just want to be around people that just accept us, accept our mediocrity and everything like that. And I'm not saying eliminate those people out of our lives. That's not what I'm suggesting whatsoever. But what I am saying is add to your network of people that are progressive. So let me give you guys an example. Let me ask you guys this question. When you're around your friends that you currently have right now, do you talk about the past or do you guys talk more about the future? See, a lot of us may be around our friends. They're all about reminiscing in the past and things of that nature. We're trying to leave the past. We want to talk about vision. What are you and your network talking about on a day-to-day basis? Are you guys talking about reality TV shows, things of that nature? Or are you guys talking about how we can come together and do something significant in our lives? This is doing the checkup from the neck up. This is about you auditing your relationships, right? And I see a lot of people fall prey to just being in their comfort zone and being around the same people, recycling the same old stories from the past, their childhood and things of that nature, but there's nothing progressive in terms of their school of thought, in terms of where they're going. That's where you're going to have to come into the fold and take control of conversations with your network. And if they're not willing to reciprocate that, you got to find some other people, all right, that will add to your life. So write that down. When you're around your friends, do you find yourself talking about the past or talking about the future? Take stock of that. Pay attention to it. And what you're going to find yourself doing is you're going to start finding yourself distancing yourself. Not that you love them any less, but they're not vibing at the same frequency as you, because wealth is all about frequency, if that makes sense, everyone. The second question that I want you guys to write down, are they energy givers or energy drainers? Right? You got some friends that when you see their number come up on the phone, you're like, oh Lord, let me go and put that down for me. I ain't got time to talk to them right now, right? So are you around people that are energy givers or energy drainers? People that when you see their number coming in, you're like, oh, okay, let me talk to this person because I know they got something good that they want to talk about. Anyone that's around me, someone say anything? Okay.
Hey, Greg, it's me. Sorry to disturb you, but there is one of my Nigerian partners. He's been waiting to come in on.
Okay.
You can let him in.
All right. I don't have any control over that right now. So.
Okay. He says, okay, then, sorry.
Okay. No problem. So do they drain you or do they give you energy? Okay. And then are you around friends? Number 3, are you around people that only love and accept you? Okay. Or they believe in you. All right. And if they believe in you, they're going to support your business. Does that make sense, everybody? If you're around people that's not supporting your business, they just may love you, they may accept you, but they're not going to push you towards your goals and dreams. And so environment is very, very important. I'm going to share my screen just to give you guys a visual of what I'm talking about here, okay? Because this is critically important. Let me pull this up. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a visual here, right? So mindset, right? You have to set your mind, and then you have this, you have your goal. All right. So people get involved in this business, and they're excited in the very beginning, right? And they have a goal, whatever that is, your magic number that you have. Okay. And so you get involved in the business, and then you're excited, and you talk to one of your friends, and they say, no, it's a pyramid, and now you're down here, right? Emotionally. Then you come to a new members orientation or locker room. You get some feedback, whatever the case may be. Okay, you say, I'm going to try it again. And you talk to a cousin, and they say, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'm gonna come to a meeting. I'm gonna come to a meeting for you. So you go back up, your emotions are excited, but then when the meeting comes along, they don't show up. So now you're down here again emotionally, right? Then maybe you come to another locker room, you give it one last chance because you've been in 2 weeks, a long 2 weeks, and you hear something and you get excited again. And then all of a sudden you talk to another person and then you're down here in the dumps. That's the emotional roller coaster, right? You don't want to build a business based on emotionality, team. All right. So you want to start setting standards and not goals. And so what happens in the middle right here? It's all about action, consistent action in your environment. Right here. This is the standard right here along this line. All you want to do is focus on consistent action in your environment. And environment doesn't have to just to do with just your physical location, although that matters. Like when you look around your house, does your home, does it inspire you? Or is it, and Charles, I'm going to say it to my head and not my heart, I just want to talk here, or is it a place that you go into and just hide, a hole that you go into and hide from the rest of the world with the curtains closed, you know, and some Nutella in your hand and you're watching Netflix? Or is it an environment that inspires you? But the thing of it is, though, is the people that's in your life, for those of you that are married or have a significant other, do they believe in you? And you need to have a conversation with them if they don't. You know, I need for you to believe in me. Your environment is going to make or break you because we live up or down to the expectations of the people that we surround ourselves with the most, team. And so I'm very, very conscious of the environment. Like I have water fountains in my home because I like the sound of water. If I'm playing music, it's going to be music that has beats, not a whole lot of necessary words or anything like that, because I want to control my narrative. All right. I'm, you know, reading things to keep me in a certain state because I want to take responsibility for my environment. So the reason why a lot of people will come to an event, whether it's Locker Room, for those of you that should do network marketing events on Saturday, regionals and nationals and all that kind of stuff. And in that moment, you feel so doggone good. But then once you leave that environment, it fizzles out and you go right back to your normal way of being. And that's what a lot of people are experiencing. I'm sharing with you guys the practical way that in between events that you take responsibility for consistent action, no matter what anyone says or does in your environment. And that is the people and places that you associate with. That's your responsibility. Because the idea of a person getting through or not getting through has no bearing on the opportunity, team. It does not. The bearing and the onus is on us as individuals. And so when people are feeling emotional about, well, I've talked to 10 people and no one's saying yes, whatever the case may be, a couple of things could be happening. Number one, I think a lot of people are talking way too much, right? Number two, they're faking it. They're not really talking to a lot of people, but they want to make it seem like the opportunity is not working for them, if that makes sense to everybody there. All right. And so the key is you want to make sure that you have consistent action and that you create a proper environment and don't allow anyone to paint your world tiny. Okay. So let me go ahead and go over a couple other things with you guys here. When I talk about consistent action, I was having a conversation, I think it was with, it may have been Terry. When I talk about action, this is why it's important that you guys take action after locker room, new member orientation, and once you get started, because it's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than it is to think your way into a new way of acting. Please write that down. It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than it is to think your way into a new way of acting. So a lot of you come and you may think that you're getting information to make you think differently, but yeah, it's to help, you know, tweak your thinking, but it's also designed for you to take action on the information that was just shared with you, if that makes sense. So one of the main reasons why people are excited when they're in an event, all right, and they lose that excitement is because the event supports what they're doing. So environmental is more valuable than mental. Why? Because it supports your mental. So if you're taking notes, write that down. Environmental is more important than mental because it supports your mental. So that's why I said the standard here. Stop setting goals and start setting standards, and don't get on the emotional roller coaster, because if you take consistent action and you take control of your environment, that's the people that you associate with, okay? Then what's going to happen is that you're going to hit your goals, and it won't be in a straight line. You're going to have some ups and downs and everything like that, but you're not going to allow those ups and downs to dictate, all right, how you feel about your business, if that makes sense to everybody. Okay, this is critically important to understand. I'm going to share this with you guys here, and I'm going to get a little bit personal with you guys before I go on to the next thing here, okay? Just so that you guys know, the last couple of weeks, only a few people know about this, but about 3.5 weeks ago, all right, my wife, well, about a month ago, my wife was in bed and she was feeling something, right? And she said, babe, I feel something here. What, this doesn't feel right. And I touched and it was a little knot. And we didn't think much of it. This to show you how quickly your life can change. So she went and got checked out the very next day. Now, this is 4 weeks ago. And she got diagnosed with breast cancer, right? Now, check this out. So you got to understand, this just hit us out of left foot. This is 4 weeks fresh, you guys. So we're going to get over this. Her, she's healthy. She's at all this, that, and the third in terms of her health and her well-being. And then the doctor said, well, we want to check the other one. They found something in the other one as well. So now my wife, who, if anyone that knows her, is healthy, she's vibrant, the whole 9 yards. And now she's going to have a double mastectomy next week, right? So when we went over to Italy, we're talking about these things. And one of the things she said, because she has a strong mindset, but one of the things that's keeping her strong is the environment of myself, our girls, our family, and things of that nature. I cannot tell you guys the importance of your environment and the people that are around you in your life, okay? And so life happens. Life be life in you guys. But the mindset that I have, the mindset that my wife has, is that we're going to get on the other side of this, and we still keep one foot in front of the other. There's a lot of you right now that you're going through your own personal challenges, right? I'm here to tell you guys that it's going to be up to you, all right, to not wallow in that, but say, okay, what are you going to do about it, right? Because once again, we don't just want to grow old, right? We want to grow up. And so I wanted to share that with you guys, that this last 4 weeks have been extremely challenging, but because of the mindset, because of understanding everything I'm sharing with you guys, we're going to get on the other side of that. We're putting one foot in front of the other, right? And that's how champions operate. Does that make sense, everybody, so far? Okay. So this is really, really deep. So Gary, you have a question for me real quick before I go on, man? Just raise your hand. We're good? Okay, fantastic. So I'm not sharing that with you guys to feel, sorry or anything like that. I'm just talking to you guys as family, if that makes sense, and I feel like I can share that with you guys. So definitely keep her in prayers and things of that nature. But I promise you, it's the environment that helps her get on the other side of everything besides just her own mindset. Okay, that's what we got to do. So let me do this real quickly. I'm going to talk to you guys also about relationships, all right, relative to building your business. This is primarily a warm market business. And I know some of you are part of the NFL club. And I want to break some stuff down for you guys here real quickly, because I want you guys, and I've done this before, you guys need to understand we're in the shipping and receiving business. And I want to talk to you guys about going from transactional relationships to transformational relationships. There's way too many people in the people-to-people space that's in this space just based on transactions. All they see is dollar signs on people's foreheads. That's all they see. They're not really trying to build wealth. They just want to make a quick buck because they're in survival mode versus having a transformational business relationship. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen one time, and I'm going to show you guys this real quickly. All right. We clear this. and do this. Okay. Now, what I mean by being in the shipping and receiving business, there's 4 levels that you have to go through. There's relation shipping. I call it. Number 2, there's friend shipping. And I'm saying shipping because these are verbs. This is activity. There's partner shipping. And then there is finally leadershipping. Okay. Now, why am I going over this with you guys? Well, I'm going over this with you guys because primarily it's about a warm market business, right? And when you go to your warm market, you've already gone through the relationshiping part of it, and you have a friendship with the people that's in your close circle. Then you can go ahead and ask them to go into business with you. That's where partnershiping comes into play. I can tell you guys from evaluated experience, for me personally, anyone that I've gotten into, most of the people, I should say, not anyone, but most of the people that I've gotten involved in the business that I found just online, or they found me online, they were here today, gone tomorrow. And I began to try to figure out, well, what is that? And it dawned on me is that I went into a partnership with someone that I didn't have a relationship with or develop a friendship with, which takes time in order to go into a partnership. Because a business relationship, you guys, it's like a marriage, right? It really, really is. It's a marriage. And you wouldn't walk up to a stranger, and just say, hey, will you marry me? Right? But we do that in the people-to-people space and then wonder why there's so much attrition or people jump from deal to deal to deal to deal. So Alex Rodriguez, if some of you guys know who he is, he's a retired professional baseball player. He used to be married to Jennifer Lopez. He's now very, very successful, after baseball. He got some mentorship from Magic Johnson. He's got some ownership in some professional franchises. And he was having a conversation and he was talking about how the fact that even at his level, in all the business dealings that he was dealing with, he saw where a lot of it was transactional. And then because it was transactional, people were stealing from him or ghosting them, all of these things at that level, right? And so going from transactional to transformational, what he decided to do, and one of his things, and I adopted this some time ago after it was shared with me, is that he has a 10-touch approach. Now, this is for those of you that's dealing in the cold market. This is so important to understand. Have a 10-touch approach. And what it means by that is 10 times that you correspond with this new person or this stranger. It can be a text message. It could be a phone call. It can be going out to, for a cup of coffee. But 10 touches before he pops the question in terms of going into a business relationship with somebody, right? Because if you don't go through a relationshiping and then a friendshipping, then there is no real partnershiping. It's just purely transactional. It's not transformational, team. And I'm telling you guys what I know. This is how it works. And so I don't want you spending a whole lot of time, trying to market to a whole bunch of strangers if you're not going to go through a process that allows you to have more stickiness in it. So people aren't coming in today and leaving in 1 month because they found you online. You have to go through a relationshiping, a friendshipping, and then a partnershiping. Now, there's some ways that you can do it. You can be consistent in putting out content for those of you who are doing that approach and everything, where they can know, like, and trust you. But even then, you still want to make sure that you have personally those touches with them because you want to create stickiness in it. So relationshiping, friendshipping, partnershiping, that's where you marry me, right? And then leadershiping, because that's when you start raising children, all right? Raising your family, things of that nature. And that's the order that it goes in. And this is so critically important to understand. So for those of you that are wondering, well, why are people here today, gone tomorrow? The question you have to ask yourself, well, did I create stickiness? Did I really create a relationship with them? And I love what Doug went over the other week talking about, the family meeting. That's going to help in creating stickiness, where you're introducing other people that you bring on new to other people in the community to start creating the relationship and the friendship, because that's the mortar that creates the stickiness, and it decreases the attrition rate in business. And every business goes through it. But in the people-to-people space, this right here is critically important. Does that make sense, everybody? So relationship, friendship, partnership, right? Now, having said that, you guys, one of the other things that I want to talk to you guys too about is keeping the peaking of interest very, very simple. Keep your peak very, very simple. Don't talk too much. So if you're calling somebody that's in your warm market, one of the simplest things that you can say to somebody when you call them up that's in your warm market is say, I want to go into business with you. Write that down. I want to go into business with you. You call a friend up, a cousin up, a coworker that you have a relationship with and a friendship with. I want to go into business with you. That's one. So what are they going to say? Oh, really? Well, what kind of business? Step number 2. How about owning our own bank? Right? Now, the key is doing this with excitement and urgency, no hype. Right? How about owning our own bank? So you're calling up somebody, hey, I want to go into business with you. Oh, really? Okay. That's like a proposal. That's a partnership. That's intimate when you tell somebody that. Well, what kind of business? How about owning our own bank? Our own bank? Well, how does that work? Great question. All right. I'm having a strategic partnership meeting on Monday at 7 o'clock. In fact, I'm inviting, and if they know some of the same people that you know, I invited Paul, Sue, and Mary as well at 7 o'clock on Monday on a Zoom. I need you to be there. That's it. Do not tell them what it is. Don't let them twist your arm or anything like that. And the reason why I'm going over this with you guys is because we have to have a duplicatable way of piquing interest so that people aren't talking too much out here in the field or feel obligated that they have to share a whole lot of information. No, you don't. Lean in on the relationship. I want to go into business with you. What kind of business? How about us owning our own bank? Our own bank? How do we do that? Is this legal? Great question. I'm having a meeting on Monday at 7 o'clock. In fact, I'm inviting Paul, Sue, and Mary. I want you to be there. I'll give you all the details there. All your questions will be answered there. In fact, I haven't been this excited in years. Leave it at that, team. I promise you. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because the truth does not need a lot of words. It's the lies that need a lot of elaboration. Always remember that. The truth does not need a lot of words. It's the lies that require elaboration. So all these trading deals, all that's all elaboration. Keep it simple. We're connecting wallets and getting unavoidable cash flow once they come and see the presentation. So I want to encourage you guys, use that with your warm market. Okay? Ask them, do you trust me? Right? Because once again, or even if, do you believe in me? Do you trust me? Right? Because what we're doing is we're leveraging the social capital and the trust network. There's no reason why every last one of you shouldn't be making 6 figures a year with this. None. There is absolutely no reason that you can't. But it's all about that mindset. It's all about your environment. It's all about consistent action, right? And it's all about keeping it simple, team. I promise you, that's it. Now, will there be ups and downs and all arounds? Absolutely. But your mindset and your environment, you keep that stable, you'll eventually hit your goal, I promise you. Okay? Anybody got anything they want to add real quick before we continue? All right. D Ford.
My brother, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, man.
Man, I just want to say right there, well, I mean, everything you've been hitting the nail on the head. I mean, the nail has gone through the wood at this point. But I would dare say, based on evaluated experience, folks, 95% of people are talking way too much. I can guarantee it. Why? I did it
Right.
when I wasn't making no money. Because I would have people paint me into a corner. I didn't have my belief up, and my octave, my voice, they raise to a PowerPoint when I'm standing up and I'm sharing. Folks, you got to get your place in a posture to where your voice tones comes out, so that belief can come out, that excitement, because people are not necessarily hearing your words; they're listening to the music. And so, keeping it simple like this, hey, how about owning a bank together? You're gonna be like, a bank? Man, what's that about? Well, hey, I've invited you, Paul, Chris, and others. I'm doing a private meeting this Monday. Okay, trust me, I'll be explaining all the details then. Okay, if I send you over the link, will you be there? Can I pin you in? Right? So it's not giving up and farting up or throwing up and vomiting over people. Oh, it's you get 3 and then these 3. No. Keep it simple. Keep it firm. And just create the invite and just share the details will be shared then. And hurry up and get off the conversation.
Absolutely.
So, 95% folks, they fell in this space because they're talking too much. All right?
Okay.
I give it back over to you, my friend. Thank you for what you're sharing, man, and keep it coming. I got just a whole thing of notes over here. Love it.
Well, he elaborated on it, and it's so true, you guys. What we're doing is we're overcomplicating it. Well, what do you say? That's because your belief isn't where it needs to be. Less said is best said in this environment here, okay? Keep doing that. And what duplicates, because they can do that, right? They can do the exact same thing with their warm market. Make sense? All right. Hey, Marilyn, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Good.
What was the last thing you said? That truth does not need a lot of
words. The truth doesn't need a lot of words. It's the lie that requires elaboration. And it's true. Our business is the truth of our business is so simple of the 2 steps, right? And so that's what makes it so powerful, but it's almost like too good to be true because it's so freaking simple, but it's the truth. Okay?
Thank you. Absolutely.
All right, Marilyn. Hey, Bishop Garnett, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing it.
Oh, you muted just, there you go.
Doing wonderful, great. Glad to have you back. Listen, that's what you're sharing. Does that apply to even when you're talking to like 10, 12 people in one setting?
In one setting? We mean peaking 10 people in one setting?
Yes.
I don't tend to peak 10 people at one. I do one at a time because I like to be able, because if you have 10 people, you may have one bad apple that spoils the whole environment of it. So I typically keep it like a one-on-one kind of deal whenever I'm peaking. I don't peak, 10 people at a time. If someone in your position, let's just say that you're, behind the podium and you're preaching to some people, you can say, hey, I like, if you're interested, come and talk to me one at a time, or let me get your name, and then you have a one-on-one conversation with them. To me, that's the best way to go about doing it.
Okay. There's a group. I'm actually in Southern California today, but there's a group that I'm supposed to be talking to after church and everything on tomorrow. So I was, I'm playing all of the different scenarios in my head.
Gotcha. I mean, you can say that there's an incredible project that you're working on that's worthy of the time and attention. And for anybody that's open to looking at it, feel free to, come up to me and I'll, we can, swap information, stuff like that.
Great.
Thank you. Great question. Hey, Rhonda.
Thank you, Bishop Garnett. You pretty much answered my question, because I think that's where I'm hurdling, is trying to talk or 10 touch more people than one at once. Mm-hmm. And when you try to 10 touch more than one, somebody's going to go lacking. Right. So I am so glad that you brought that, because I did visualize that in my mind, that I'm reaching out to too many people at the same time, and not taking care of the one helping them to get this into their system before moving on. And I think that's why, we need to take time to succeed.
That's right.
If we try to get there tomorrow, even though there's a sense of urgency, 10 touch one, then move them, 10 touch another one, then move them. I thank you for that, because now I see it in my head. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Rhonda. Well said. Valencia, how you doing, superstar?
I'm well.